Today on the DML News Podcast, I'm filling in for DML, and we have Alec Lace via Zoom in the studio. We're going to talk about Trump, we're going to talk about Biden, and we're going to talk about the future of America. As always, it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hey everybody, it's Denny here. As I said in the intro, DML is out today. It's just me and Ryan in the warehouse. He's on the controls, but we do have Alec Lace, who used to host the DML News show with my dad, coming in through Zoom today. We're going to be talking about Trump's giant press conference that he held yesterday. We're going to talk about Mayor Adams with the possible pardoning, the mystery drones, a new deal with the SoftBank CEO that Trump announced. We're also going to talk about the Madison school shooting yesterday, too, as well as some details there. And then just some things that Alec is up to, including what's going to be happening around Inauguration Day. So it's an awesome discussion. Just sit back, listen, and enjoy. And we'll see you guys after we talk with Alec. Here is Alec Lace. All right, Alec Lace, thank you for being on the program today. Really exciting stuff because you and I haven't spoken since before the election. And I want to really just kind of start off with, how have the days been since Trump has won the election?
Hey, what's up, Danny? Great to see you again here. Yeah, it's a new day in America here, right? The golden age is upon us. So it's exciting, but it's a scary time, too, because you still have, you had 72-day period in between when Trump won, and then he gets elected. Or he gets inaugurated, I should say, excuse me. So that's kind of a scary time. These people know the jig is up. Trump's holding all the cards, the Senate, the House. So you're kind of afraid of what they're going to pull. And that's really been, you just want to get there. You want to get to January 20th. We see Trump traveling over to Paris, traveling over here. It's like, just stay put for a minute here, stay put and let's just get you in there at the White House, But it's an exciting time, optimistic, most optimistic we've had in the last 4 years, that's for sure. So I think good times are ahead.
Pretty much every day since actual election day, I feel like there is just some giant news item, whether it's related to Trump or even on the other side with Biden. And it just kind of either becomes exciting, but then also that fearfulness of like, can we actually get to January 20th? But I want to reverse the clock here about 2 weeks ago, because our dad, actually, DML, told me and Ryan about this. But Trump was at the Notre Dame Cathedral, and so was First Lady Jill Biden. And it kind of became an infamous picture shot, right? They're sitting there on the bench, and there's a space in between them, and they kind of had that little picture moment of where they looked kind of nice and jolly together. And I don't think there's any secret at this point that Jill Biden is not a Kamala Harris fan. She never really is seen talking or interacting with her, and on Election Day, she even chose to wear bright Republican red. So you have this picture here of the two of them talking and chatting it up. And I know there was some meme contests going on X, like who could create the best meme. And it turns out that the one that I thought was the best one was the one you created, which was the fragrance meme. In fact, Ryan will throw it up on the screen here so our audience could see, maybe as a reminder if they've already seen it. And I must say, Alec, it was absolutely hysterical just looking at it when I saw it first on X, because I know Trump shared it. But then when my dad told me, he's like, oh my God, Alec was actually the one who created it. I just want to ask, what inspired you to create such a hysterical meme?
It's just because those events happened back to back. I had just seen the Trump fragrance, the Trump cologne thing. I think it was like the day before I had seen him come out with that cologne. And then the next day was that picture. And I had originally responded with a comment to that picture. Like I saw them putting it around and I said, this would be a great ad for his new cologne. And then I was like, oh man, I got to make a meme on this. So that's why I created it and put it out there. And it didn't, it's funny because it didn't get as many impressions. Like I think it got like 100,000 impressions or something like that. It didn't blow up into. So what I'm wondering too, what might have happened is because it's a picture, you could just save the image, and I'm sure many people were sharing that picture. So I'm sure somewhere down the line it got to the Trump team, and that's how he ended up using it.
Oh, it was, I think in terms of the meme contest for that, because there were some very funny ones. Like some people did like the dialogue, like, Trump asking her like, Jill, you voted for me, right? She's like, of course I did, Donald. Yeah. I mean, there was some funny, but I do think I had to bring it up because I know it was only 2 weeks back, but I was like, wow, that the fragrance meme, I think, was definitely the winner there for sure.
Yeah, I seen him post it. I was like, oh my God, this is So I immediately had to start striking and start putting it out there. So
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well,
I thought it was pretty cool.
I mean, there's one thing that I think Trump will always be the best at, or at least for the times to come. Uh, his presence is so meme worthy, and like in a good gesture way. It's not like Biden is meme worthy, but in the sense of like, because we're kind of making fun of him, whereas Trump just always has, I don't know, so many like funny little moments like that where he's talking to Jill and clearly charming her up. So
Well, he's a troller too. I mean,
yeah,
Trump is
he's totally a
legendary troller. So he's definitely going to do stuff like that.
Totally. So with Trump, he had a very big news conference yesterday, and I love when he has these unscripted press conferences at Mar-a-Lago because he's kind of in his element, and he'll take questions from all fields. And there's no doubt, I think, that the big news story here in the last 2 weeks have been the drone sightings. So I want to play the quick clip from his press conference yesterday where he addresses the drones, particularly the ones that have been hovering in New Jersey. And I want to ask you about that. So we'll play the clip really quick for our audience here.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you
Want to
shoot
know
them
the
down?
truth.
What?
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been getting regular?
So Alex, so before he even really addressed it at the press conference yesterday, my dad and I, we've been talking about it on these past few episodes here about these drones and kind of the fact that no one's got answers for them. Trump hadn't really spoken about it until he made a Truth Social post a few days ago saying like, hey, Biden and the administration, they know exactly what these drones are. They're not saying anything. I don't know why. They should speak out. But if they're not going to say anything, go shoot them down, And then he finally speaks about it at the press conference yesterday, saying, again, they know what these drones are and they're not coming out with it. And we're left to guessing, right? Is it Iran? Because some are saying it's Iranian. DML, my dad and some others do believe that it could be the Chinese. And then it's just, okay, maybe it's our own government doing these test runs. Like, what is the answer? And yet we are still just kind of left in the dark all these weeks later. I know with you living in New Jersey, have you personally seen any of these mysterious drones that have been flying around?
Yeah, Denny, I live in Jersey. I work overnights on the railroad, and I have not personally witnessed any of these. Now I've seen things that could look possibly like drones. They're far away. There's nothing I've seen that's 100% identifiable as a drone. I certainly haven't seen any SUV-sized drones hovering over my house or anything. So, I've interviewed New Jersey assemblymen who's talked to the colonel of the state police. They claim to have seen them. I haven't personally witnessed them, so I don't know. Like everybody else, I don't know what's going on. It just seems like, I think whatever has happened, you definitely have a mix of, now you have police drones in the sky. You have news networks, drones are all in the sky. You have every hobbyist in New Jersey that owns a drone, has their drone up there in the sky. So I think it's convoluted to what might actually be happening. And I would think if it's a foreign entity that's doing it, I think we may as well just give up and surrender right now, because if we could allow China or Iran to get actual intelligence probes in here and we don't know about them and we don't know how to get them out of here, we're in a lot of trouble here. We may as well surrender the ship. So I don't know that I go with the the foreign entity? Is it our military? Seems like the most likely. I definitely think 100% our government has to know exactly what is going on here. Why they're not telling us, I don't know. Maybe it's a military need to know basis. I know the theory is flying around. Are they looking for a nuclear warhead that went missing? I mean, I don't know if I necessarily am buying that either. I mean, I would think we'd have to have some kind of more sophisticated equipment that could detect radiation. I mean, so I don't know. Every theory is in play because we don't get the information. When you don't give the information, it leads to all these different conspiracy theories that are flying around. And I think you've got definitely people in Jersey that are flying their own drones around to be a part of the show as well. And the last thing you want to see is people here in Jersey start shooting things out of the sky, because I think that's going to be a disaster for everybody.
I already saw one. I already saw one video on X where I don't know if it was in Jersey or elsewhere, or someone else actually just like pointing up, trying to like, pop at one of the drones. But to your point, right? Like, we don't get any answers. We're just kind of provided some gaslit implications that, oh, it's all in legal practice. Don't worry about it. It's not a foreign entity. It's not this. But then, when you have Trump there at the press conference and he's asked at the end, have you been given a briefing? And he says, I don't want to comment on that. Me and my brother, we were just talking about it a little bit ago. Like, is that because he actually hasn't been briefed yet? And maybe he's pissed off that he actually doesn't know what's going on either. Or does he know and he wants to speak out, but obviously he doesn't have the keys to the Oval Office just yet. So, because I think truthfully, if Trump was in office, we would have the answers to what these drones are. Might even be the case that we wouldn't have these drones going around. But it's been unbelievable how much this story went from a few sightings in Jersey to, okay, now someone saw it in California, and then this one saw it in Florida. I mean, our dad just saw it the other day in Vero Beach, one off the coast. So, I think it's just kind of crazy how we're in this time period of, okay, Christmas is around the corner. We should all be like relaxed and chilled out. Trump's coming in. But instead, we all have to look to the sky and be like, okay, well, what's hovering above us right now? And then to your point, right, you got people who fly on their personal drones. I've even been duped by one AI video. I was like, oh my God, this looks crazy. And then it turns out it's someone editing it. I just think either this is going to be
to your point there too, Denny, that's led to a lot of the hysteria too. You have multiple videos going up there that are fake, so you have to make sure you know what you're looking at first. Community Notes has been pretty good on X to at least give you hey, this is a AI edited or whatever it may be, to kind of point you in the right direction. So that doesn't help when and again, the other thing to this too, Denny, is that this thing is providing massive amount of views and impressions for people. So no matter what it is, even if it's just a plane, people are going to film it and put it up there and say, look at this strange object flying, because they know it's automatic impressions and views. So there's a huge amount of people that are just flooding the internet with that stuff just to get the view counts, while the iron is hot, because the story is trending. So that also doesn't help what's going on here.
That's so true. With the shooting yesterday in Madison, which we'll get into in a little bit. The reason I hadn't had so many details on it was because, to your point, my X timeline at this stage has just been flooded with, the talk of the drones and the sightings. So I don't know. I'm going to be hopeful that we do actually get answers to it, but I would not be shocked if this does just go away and we never get answers.
And again, Denny, I am in the camp that, we got 30-something days till Trump gets into the White House. I am in the camp that we're in a dangerous time here. Anything could happen. World War III could pop off. Some type of nefarious activity could definitely take place. I don't think they want him in there and having full access to everything that they've done against him. So I think they're burning the books there at the White House. I mean, I think they're trying to cover their tracks. So I do believe we're in a dangerous time. Is this the drone thing? Could it be a distraction from what's really going on while everyone's looking over here? That's trending. They're in the back pocket. I really don't know any more than anybody else does. It's just, in my opinion, I think it's a story that started and it's blown way out of control because of everybody jumping on the trend. I mean, that's very possible too.
Well, I guess one of the things that Trump is definitely getting us all pretty hyped about are some of the big deals, or at least the contributions he's looking to get from some of the bigger companies out there once he's in office. One video we have for the audience to watch, I know you got to see it too, was that from the conference yesterday, he actually had the CEO of SoftBank, I can never pronounce, Masayoshi Son, and him and Son made the announcement that he's looking for $100 billion investment from him, and he even kind of jokes around to try and get more money out of him. But Riley, let's play the clip just so our audience sees it. about what happened with Trump and the CEO yesterday.
To go, and we were discussing, and President Trump said, Massa, double down is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's what I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion and say he can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that? Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but he's now asking to do more. I think with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right,
200. He'll make it happen. 200 million investment.
He is a great negotiator.
He's a brilliant guy and did an unbelievable job, and the people of Japan and all over the world are very proud of him. They have tremendous respect for him. So when he does what he just did, and I would be surprised if it didn't go to 2. When you say you'll try, I know you'll do it.
I will really try, and I need your support, though.
You'll have my support.
All right.
You'll have our country's support.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you, Masa, very much.
Fantastic.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You want to
Great
say hello
event.
to the people of Japan who are all...
So, Alec, I think Trump totally displayed there why he is the master with the art of the deal kind of persona. Puts Masayoshi right on the spot, like, would you do $200 billion? And I think he actually got him to do a $50 billion contribution initially in his 2016 campaign. But I think, again, just with those press conferences, it goes to show that he's making some really big moves before we get to January 20th with some of the biggest, whether it's CEOs to tech firms or some of the biggest financial institutions out there. But I think it's a really positive sign, too, that a lot of that monetary contribution is going to go to like AI development, job expansion. I think the initial idea is to expand it to 100,000 jobs in total to be built under these contributions. So I think what's your take on that in terms of Trump just kind of establishing these major connections?
It almost reminds me like as if it's Shark Tank, right? And Trump is actually the guy there, and everyone's coming to him to pitch their ideas. Like you have world leaders that all want to meet. They're all trying to schedule meetings with Trump. Everyone wants the Facebook guys. Zuckerberg wants to get there and pitch him an idea. Oh, I'll donate $1 million here. Everybody in the tech world, everybody in the crypto world, everyone's trying to get a meeting with him to pitch their ideas, put a little money here. So he's the man right now in the arena. Everyone wants to come to him. That's why I think it's such a positive time right now. Everyone realizes he's the guy that's going to get shit done. And so that's why, they're going to go to him. And of course, he knows that. And so he uses that to his advantage. And that's why he was able to squeeze that guy right on the camera there. And, the guy didn't know what the hell to do. He's like, well, what do I do here? If I say no, now I look like an idiot. If I say yes, I'm in for another 100 billion. So he put that guy right on the spot, and he did that on purpose. He knows he's got the guy at a disadvantage, so he's going to play the card. He's going to use it. And that's what Trump does so brilliantly. But I do think everyone wants a chance to be in the Trump camp right now. And the other thing, too, is you have some people that you have to watch because they were anti-Trump. There's people that are trying to get in there and trying to get around him that are looking to undermine him. I think we all saw that play out in his first term. So many people that got close to him that were specifically in there to undermine him. And so I think that's something that he's got to watch going into his second term. And I think he's got the right people around him now. And we can look at some of his nominees and appointees. It shows you almost like a Pete Hegseth. You see a Pete Hegseth nomination. That almost shows you that he has no faith in anybody that's got a high-ranking military position. So rather than go with one of these guys who may possibly stab him in the back 2 years down the line, he's going to go with a guy that he knows and trusts. And I think you're seeing him do that with some of these picks for that reason.
I think a big contrast I've definitely noticed this time around with him getting elected compared to 2016. In 2016 when he got elected, a lot of the Zuckerbergs and big CEOs like that literally had panic attacks. In fact, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with a major CEO. I think his name was Mark Andreessen, and he would even confirm, he's like, I remember 2016, right? Everyone had meltdowns. But this time around, you got Zuckerberg going to Mar-a-Lago, donating money. You got Jeff Bezos going to Mar-a-Lago, donating money. I think Sam Altman from OpenAI just did it the other day. It's almost like a bending of the knees, so to say, sucking up in the sense of like, okay, we really screwed you over in certain ways. I mean, Zuckerberg in particular, but how can we make amends in this new kind of golden era that you're trying to spark? And I think my initial reaction would want to be like, oh, screw Zuckerberg. And I still kind of have that. But I do love the idea that Trump could maybe start influencing the more resistant minds from the most hardcore of leftists to say, hey, why not, instead of posing such a resistance to me, embrace what we got going here, and let's see if we can ramp up not only to your benefit to improve your company, but you benefit America too.
Yeah, I think that's the key, and I think it would benefit everybody else that's around him. But again, you have these people that are just doing it now, like you say, they're sucking up because this is what they have to do. They're in a position now where if they go against him, they're screwed. So they have to try to play nice with him. He knows that, so he's got them at that disadvantage. I don't think he ever trusts them, but I think he's allows them to play in the game, and I think that's what we're seeing, especially with somebody like Zuckerberg. I know when I had Kash Patel on the show here a few months back talking about Zuckerberg, he called him right out, said Zuckerberg is the biggest fraud in business. So I think it helps that he's going to have people like that around him in that administration. So when things do go sideways, they can pounce.
I was gonna say, I think it's so awesome that he picked Kash Patel for the FBI director. So I'm excited to see that. One last video we have from that press conference, because I do want to hear your opinion on it, because it's been a little bit divided, I guess, on what Trump had said here. But this is a clip that Ryan's going to play that you and I had already seen, that Trump commented about whether or not he would pardon Mayor Adams of New York City, indicating that he would likely pardon, but he explains as to why. So Ryan's going to play that clip real quick.
Would you consider pardoning Eric Adams?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think that he was treated pretty unfairly. Now, I haven't seen the gravity of it all, but it seems, like being upgraded in an airplane many years ago. I know probably everybody here has been upgraded. They see you're all stars, and they say, I want to upgrade that person from NBC. I'm going to upgrade him. And that would mean you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. I don't know. Somehow, I'd have to see it because I don't know the facts. I think he was treated. It's very interesting. When he essentially went against what was happening with the migrants coming in, and, he made some pretty strong statements like, this is not sustainable. I said, you know what? He'll be indicted soon. And I said it not as a prediction, a little bit lightheartedly, but I said it. I said, he's going to be indicted. And a few months later, he got indicted. So, yeah, I would certainly look at it.
So, Alec, he pretty much confirmed there that he would be, he would consider pardoning Mayor Adams, basically laying out he feels a lot of those charges that were brought against Mayor Adams were political in nature, because even though Mayor Adams did accept the migrant flow initially into New York City, I'm sure there was a meeting at some point where he said, hey, we got to stop this. And Biden and Kamala and all of them said, no, there's no stopping it. We're still sending them. Mayor Adams speaks out. Next thing you know, he's getting charged with these, kind of flimsy connections with this Turkish official. So I've seen some people make the argument, hey, this is Trump giving the olive branch, say, hey, I've been kind of unfairly targeted too. Let's go with the unity idea. I will pardon you if need be. And then I've seen some takes of, Mayor Adams is your classic NYC leftist who doesn't deserve the pardoning. I'm kind of more in the sense that I think there's a strategy here of going with the olive branch approach. And you being from Jersey, what are your thoughts about Trump potentially, giving a pardon over to Adams?
I think there's no doubt there would be something on the back end of that for Trump, a reason for him to do it. He's not just doing it, I think, out of the goodness of his heart to see this guy, let's just give him a favor. I think Eric Adams is definitely somebody who he cares a lot about his image. He cares a lot about his legacy. He's very much about his appearance and how he looks. And I think that's why he's a fad jumper. He'll jump on the fads. When he came in to office, it was, okay, this is what the left is all doing. We're all taking these illegal immigrants. We're a sanctuary city. So he embraced that. And then when it got to the point where he realized all the people in New York were saying, we don't want this, and they were going to call for his head, he said, well, I got to do something here, or my legacy is going to be, they're going to throw me out of here on my head. So he switched gears there, and that upset the apple cart, and then they came after him, and so he's got some dirty laundry in the pile, and so they were able to get him on some, you could get, like they say, you get a dite a ham sandwich. They found what they could get on Eric Adams, and they used that against him. So he's in that kind of position now where the people like the fact that he wants to help deport all these people, but he's got the Department of Justice on his back saying, now we're going to make you pay for going against us. Trump sees the predicament that this guy is in, so he could throw him the olive branch. There may be some type of thing that they have going on the back end. I don't know exactly what that would be, but New York has been destroyed by these illegal immigrants. I mean, that's what's happened there. That's why you saw there's such an improvement in people voting for Trump. In New York and a lot of the different districts in New York. People are sick and tired of it. So I think you're seeing that more and more. You see it in Chicago. They're ready to throw that guy, Mayor Johnson, out on his head because of all this stuff. And he has taken a separate approach than Eric Adams. He's leaned into it. He's doubled down on it. No, this is what we're doing. We're not going to let you deport anybody. So you see other mayors and you see other governors that are taking that stance. And I think it's going to end up being very bad for those people. And I think somebody like Eric Adams realizes, hey, if I play this right, I could come out ahead on this. And I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's saving his neck. He's making the plea to Trump, and he's looking to avoid incarceration, get the pardon from Trump, have the people that admire him. And I think it's a win-win situation for him, no matter what it costs him on the back end.
You know, it's true. I think it really is smart of Mayor Adams to kind of say, like, hey, man, if they want to go in and do the mass deportations, they're coming in. Because to your point, right, you got Mayor Johnson, you got Mayor Michelle Wu of Boston saying they're going to pose this resistance and fight back. And yet they really deep down know that if the federal government wants to go in and deport these people, they're going to go do it. So it's clear they're trying to almost like cheapishly say that they're going to fight for the rights of the migrants and the illegal immigrants. When in actuality, we know that this is more just for them to, keep it blue and try to get the vote, which is just so scummy. But no.
I think that's going to die down in the party, Demi. I mean, I think obviously as they're looking at what went wrong for them, how they got blown out on November 5th. The two things they're going to look at is, number one, the illegal immigration crushed them. And number two, the LGBTQ trans stuff crushed them. So those two things, you're starting to see some of the people like AOC drop the pronouns in the bio.
Yes.
They're going to start distancing themselves from these trans lunatics. And I think also you're going to see them try to take a different stance on immigration. They realize this is not a winning stance to have to win elections. So I think those two things are going to change. I don't know, not drastically, but I think there's going to be some changes to their approach with immigration and the trans stuff, because those were the two things I think that really put the nail in the coffin for them.
With the trans stuff and just how you were saying earlier, how everything's just been pretty crazy since Election Day. You think it always will calm kind of down after, but if anything, it's just been more exciting. But with that, yesterday there was a shooting in Madison, Wisconsin. I think it was the Abundant Life Christian School. A teacher killed, a teenager killed, dozens injured. And we were waiting to see, because I know it happened at Tennessee with the Covenant School, whether the shooter was potentially a transgender or some form of mental illness. And while it seems that the shooter is not a transgender person, it's a 15-year-old girl, the details are starting to come out that there was indications of mental illness. She went by a different name. She had writings about how she was calling death to the male gender, across the board. So clearly not someone that was all right in the head. I think my hope here with the coming year and with Trump coming into office is that while we'll never get to 100%, I'm hoping there is a return to sanity in a sense, with this whole idea of the golden era coming back, get inflation down, get the economy booming, get, deportations underway for the millions that Biden has let in. But I think there needs to be some form of a mental health addressment too, because clearly there's a lot of people out right now that are not right in the head. And I think a lot of what's gone on in this election has kind of showcased that. So my hope is that next year can begin the process of getting sanity back into America.
And I think we need to restore the family, Denny, is what we need to do. We need stronger families in this country. I think it's good that we have people that are in there that he's going to have around him that are family-oriented people. I think that's a big problem. I know this girl, in her 6-page manifesto that she put out there, claimed that her family didn't love her. She had a big problem with her father. She called him an idiot and said, that that's how she was able to get the gun, was because her dad was, she spoke very badly of her dad as she did of all men. So we don't know yet what the situation is with the parents, what's their story and all this. How do you have a 15-year-old kid that gets this far down the hole and you don't see it or have help? We got a parenting issue in this country. We have kids that are being brought up, on TikTok and on Instagram. And then so there just was a person that admired the Columbine shooters. Just like we saw the guy that shot the CEO, he was an admirer of Ted Kaczynski. So these people are being influenced in ways that they have access to this stuff on the media. I was even saying on my show on X, you have we're desensitized to all this stuff. We see murders and killings all the time just by scrolling through the timeline. You can see either gang shootings or police shootings. We see people dying on film. That used to be like a snuff film. You never saw that in the mass society. Now the masses all have access to this stuff, and young kids all have access because no matter how hard you try, they're all using it. So we try to say, oh, parents, you got to take the phone away from you. The kids are all seeing this stuff. And so you have people jumping off buildings and the parachute don't open and splat. I mean, we're watching this stuff in real time. So I think it's having a very bad effect on this young generation growing up. We know the mental illness. They've been indoctrinated with this. You don't have to be who you were born as. You can change your gender. The schools are backing that up. So you have kids that are confused. The parents are both working. Nobody is home. Many cases, there's no father involved. So this is a mess what's happening right now with the youth in this country. So unless we start back at the kitchen table, getting families together to spend time to raise their kids, and their kids aren't getting raised by the media, by academia, they're starting to get raised by the parents again. I think that's when you're going to start seeing the shift start to happen. But we have, I mean, these people are a dime a dozen now. You don't know who's who in some of these schools, and they're built up with rage. They're taught to hate America. They're taught to hate different races. They're taught to hate themselves. So, this is all just a recipe for disaster. And hopefully, and it's a shame, a few days before Christmas now, you have people, instead of exchanging gifts, they got to go to attend a funeral. So, I mean, the whole thing is horrible. We'll find out more about, the background of this individual, obviously, mentally disturbed and who knows what else. So, we'll find out, but, prayers for all the family members involved.
Yes, to your point, Alec, I think a big thing with leadership is sometimes it could be very reflective of what the values could look in the future, right? So when you have Biden and Kamala, you got Biden, whose family is a mess. I mean, Hunter, the name alone says it, right? Then you got Kamala, who doesn't have any kids of her own, and I've seen the stepdaughter. She also looks like she's got her own problems. But then you look at Trump. Trump's got all his kids, and they all look very successful. That they all have kids of their own. You got JD Vance. He's got a nice young family. So I think by my means of that is that with this new leadership coming in, if we can see that promotion of family first values, like, the idea to not only start a family, but to really encompass those values, be a father who's present at home, be a mother who takes pride in the motherly characteristics, of being a mom, because feminism tries to shame that. So
they've assassinated that.
They assassinated
they've
that.
destroyed the stay-at-home mom. It's looked down upon. You don't depend on a man to take care of you. That's the part what this person was saying. They crush the patriarchy, down with the patriarchy. So the whole family unit, as we know it, has been destroyed by the Marxists. We saw that with Black Lives Matter. They seek to destroy the nuclear family unit. So it's definitely an epidemic.
Yeah, destroyed and almost painted it in an image of negativity. Like if you were to bring it up, they almost like try to shame you for it. And I'd rather get rid of that leadership. And obviously with Trump and Vance, and I mean, Elon Musk is the most like pro person in the world. He's always talking about, we got to get the population increase back up. So I think that's going to be very exciting to see. But, Alec, with wrapping up here, I think Inauguration Day is January 20th. Do you have any plans to attend or go?
Yeah, I'll definitely be there for the inauguration. I'll be down there before then because I've been talking with my friend Bill Brown, who's the Navy SEAL that's organizing the Navy SEAL March on Washington for Pete Hegseth. So there's over 100 Navy SEALs that are going to be marching on Washington on the day of Pete's confirmation hearing, which right now is tentatively scheduled for January 14th. So you have thousands of people that have signed the petition that want to march with the SEALs and the veterans. So you're going to have, a ton of Navy SEALs down there, a lot of other veterans. You're going to have a lot of like FDNY. You're going to have a lot of police. You're going to have a lot of patriots, and they're all going to be starting at the Vietnam War Memorial or the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, and they're going to march from there to the Capitol on the day of Pete's hearing to let them know that they want Pete to be the man for the job for Secretary of Defense. So their word means a lot, and it's going to send a strong message to these senators who might be thinking of not voting yes on Pete Hegseth, which, of course, we would never even have to worry about if this was a Democrat thing. They voted in every single pick, 0 nays. We don't have that fortune because we have so many people in there that seek to destroy us. So I think it's going to be a beautiful, patriotic day. This guy, Bill, is the one who organizes the Navy SEAL swim across the Hudson, which I've done. I've swam across the river with these guys a couple of times. And so they're putting together this march. It's going to be an awesome day. So I'll be down there for that. I'll be covering that on my show, and then I'll be down there for the inauguration to cover that as well.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm excited to see the turnout for that.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for all of Trump's nominees for some of the media slinging they've been taking, but Pete Hegseth has really been going through the ringer. So I feel for him. So I'm excited to see the turnout for that. And, until inauguration, any big Christmas plans for the Lace family, or just kind of chilling, hanging out?
Yeah, the same thing. We there's 6 of us here, so we enjoy Christmas time. This week's the last week for my show, and then a couple of weeks off for the Christmas break. So spend time together and try to appreciate what we have here, and be excited about what's to come. I think we're right in this perfect time here where there's a lot of optimism to come. So it's kind of try to get some goals together. What do we want to accomplish? The markets are going to be good. It's time to make moves over these next 4 years while the iron is hot. So I think there's a chance for real growth, development. I think there's a chance for my kids are just getting out of high school now. I got one graduated, one graduating this year. So it's a great time to hit the workforce. I think things are going to start shifting in these 4 years. So it's a time to kind of reflect, be thankful for what we have, make a plan of attack for the future,
Yeah, I love it, Alec. We've had a lot of audience members and team members switching over to X, creating accounts, learning how to use it, because that's like a whole ballpark for some of our. I mean, it was for me when I downloaded it 10 years ago. I remember like playing it with it for 2 days. Didn't pick it up for 2 weeks, then came back to it, and I've been on Twitter/X now ever since. So for those that are just joining and trying to get started, would you want to just throw out where to follow you, as well as like for your show handles too?
Yeah, just X, at Alec Lace. I really have, if you looked at my phone screen time, X blows everything else away. I very rarely ever post anything on Facebook or Instagram anymore. I mean, I still upload some to YouTube. They keep taking my videos down. I had one taken down with Senator Ron Johnson. I put that up. They took the video down on me. That's why I'm on Rumble. I've been doing this show, the Alec Lace Show, on Rumble for the last year. It's been really good. I've got I haven't had any trouble with any kind of censoring or nothing like that over there. So it's been really good. So follow me on Rumble, the Alec Lace Show, and then on X at Alec Lace. That's really where I am. I live on Rumble and X right now. Those are the 2 places to find me. I have kind of quit altogether. LinkedIn, I gave up on like a few years ago, so the only one that I really use in press is X, because it seems to be the place to be. And I love the format there. I like the fact that you don't have to worry about what you're posting or getting, knocked down or censored or anything like that. So that's it, X and Rumble.
X really has become such a unique world. I bet if I were to look at my screen time too, I would have it's like X at 90%, everything else low. It really is the place to be at this point. But Alec, thank you so much for joining us today. This was awesome, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how it plays out with Hegseth, with the march out, and then inauguration day. I know our dad is talking about possibly looking to go down there for the 20th. So maybe we might be there too. I guess we'll play it by ear. But until then, I hope you and your family have a blessed Christmas and a good holiday break.
Merry Christmas, Danny. Always a pleasure to see you. I'll see you in the new year.
All right. Big thank you to Alec for joining the show today. Ryan, thank you for all you do on the controls there. We should be back in studio tomorrow, and I believe we're going to be doing a wine and talk on Friday with Miss Mary as a way to kind of just cap off the week before we take our own break for Christmas. We'll be away for that holiday as well as New Year's before we come back for the new year of 2025. But thank you all for joining today. And today's teamed email blessing goes out to Judy Tomori. And then as a slight reminder, the CBD deal that is going on right now is our gummies. Buy one, get one free on our gummies. We have had a lot of requests from you guys and from customers about when we would get restocked. Well, we were finally restocked this weekend. So we're running this BOGO, and we will do our best to ship it out before Christmas. In fact, we will get it out before Christmas. So if you're looking to hop on that opportunity, do so today for sure, because even though we got restocked already from the orders this weekend, they're getting filled out pretty heavily. So go to dmlcbd.com/BOGO and hop on the gummy special right now. Until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.